More injuries, more wellness violations. We have a few people missing tonight. Substitute wrestlers who couldn't make it, people who missed the bus. It's okay. I've got this Diet Coke with lime. It's full of caffeine. And for my wrestling shirt tonight, I have my Cuerno, the Hunter from their Lucha Underground shirt designed by Nathan Paletta, creator of Worldwide Wrestling, which is the game we're playing. If you're watching us this week, Nathan Paletta has done a AMA on Reddit, on the Reddit-RPG, where he answers questions about the game. We are playing Worldwide Wrestling, and we come here the weekend after SummerSlam and after NXT Brooklyn Takeover Brooklyn 4. We were just babbling about that at the start. This is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, which is an online gaming community, which you can find out about at gauntlet-rpg.com. It is pretty sweet. We do a lot of games. We record a lot of games, so you can check that out. And that's what we do. So the other thing I want to mention is you may see us do like the Wrestlers X. This happens very rarely, but it has happened. That is the X card, which means that we've hit material that is off tone, it's problematic, doesn't work. People will edit past that. Just know that that's on the table. It's a safety tool. Especially important because wrestling has a history of really problematic content. So we kind of skirt that. Especially important because there's been a major change in the promotion that we will get to in a bit as we open things up. So what we're going to do is we're bringing in the new wrestler. We do this from time to time because this kind of rolls on as a living campaign. Love bringing in new people, getting them a chance to see what's going on and try the game out. So Luis, you have a chance to look through the playbooks. Do you know what you might think about doing?
Yeah, the anti-hero caught my eye.
That sounds good. So yeah, you can go ahead and do that on the drop down and grab that fourth column on the spreadsheet. And let me pull that playbook up so I can take a look at that real quick. And so do you want to do the anti-hero as a face or a heel? What do you want to be, a good guy or a bad guy? What are you thinking?
I was initially going for a face, but I think I'm going to go for a heel because I have a good visual reference for this one.
Oh, good. Awesome. And I'll pull up that anti-hero thing on my thing so I can take a look through here. Yeah, and so you can see your stats there. So basically the way that play is going to work is there's backstage stuff, which is, outside the ring. Most of that stuff is done without rolls. If it's off screen, we kind of talk about something being off screen or, on screen, meaning that it's on camera. If things are on camera, typically what we'll see is people are doing work the audience, which is a particular move, or cutting a promo about somebody. That's a move that's made with look. There are those kinds of things that go on in the ring. There are wrestling moves. Most of the moves, like feats of strength and the various wrestling and work real stiff, which means injuring people. Those are all kind of in-ring moves. And a lot of what happens is when you describe what your wrestler is doing, we kind of figure out what stat you're rolling with based on your description. And you can kind of modify your description to play into your good stats. So that's not a problem. So if you're the heel, you'll also get the heel move, which you'll find in the playbook under I believe the basic moves tab has what the heel can do with things. So you're going to get that finishing move, and then you're going to get two other moves that you can pick. Do you have any questions about those?
Sorry, I was muted there.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm still a little overwhelmed by everything, so I'm still taking it in.
Sure. Let me tell you how this works. Basically, is in the ring, when we go to wrestle, you'll describe what you're doing, and eventually we'll get to a high point, and we'll have you make a roll, and we'll roll with a stat. And the results of that roll, based on the wrestling move, will usually keep control or hand control off, or often it will generate momentum. Momentum is a spendable currency. You can always spend momentum during this game at any time to boost your roll. So momentum is a great currency to build up. You can also spend momentum to trigger certain things like the heel move. You can also spend momentum to interrupt someone. So let's say that Tyler has control of the match and you want control of it. You can spend a momentum to take control of it. So momentum is something you're going to track. It's going to change all the time. It's going to switch, and it'll go away at the end of the session. The other two big things you have are audience and heat. Your heat is your rating with another wrestler. And you're going to ask heat questions. We're going to establish some heat with them. And as a heel, you're going to get an additional heat for any of the heels that or any of the baby faces that are in the group. And audience goes from +1 to +4. Heat goes from +1 to +4. If you wrestle with somebody and you get your heat up to 4 with them, if you wrestle and you are hot with them, then at the end of that match, you get an extra audience. Audience goes from +1 to +4. When you hit +4, you get an advance. So you spend momentum to do things better, to generate heat with your other wrestlers. And then that heat goes up and it allows you to generate more audience. And when you hit 4 audience, you get an advance and you become top of the card. People love you. And that's the basic cycle that we're going to be going through. Those are the mechanical things we're looking towards.
Okay. So I got the finishing move of the anti-hero, and I picked 2 moves for myself. Let's see.
Yeah.
Just taking a quick look, I think I'm going to take anything you need to win.
That's a good one.
And Mouth of the People.
Okay. Awesome. Your audience is going to start at, I think, a +1. And you're going to get you start the session with 1 momentum because your audience is +1. If for some freakish reason, due to botches or other people bringing you down, you manage to end a session with 0 audience, you are fired.
Okay.
So there is a death rule in this game, strikingly enough. So what I'm going to do now is I want to have our 3 returning wrestlers give us the 30-second gimmick pitch on who they are. And then I want to have you ask your heat questions. And you'll ask 3 of those from the list of 4. And if somebody takes it, you can offer it out, or you can say, I think this fits with someone. You'll write down on your sheet that you have +1 heat with them. You track it on your side.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start. We've got 2 people that are over right now, and that is Kent Reed and the Kraken. Kent, give us the 30-second pitch on Kent.
Okay. Kent is the golden boy of the promotion right now. He's kind of the up and comer. He tends to get big pops whenever he shows up. And he is a 2nd-generation wrestler, the son of a monster heel that had a Viking gimmick back in the mid to late 80s. And the current gimmick that he has right now really plays on that. Kent doesn't particularly like that. That's been an ongoing issue for him. But that gimmick is so popular and gets so much pull with the audience that Kent keeps working it because it just keeps pulling things in, which is endlessly frustrating to him, but he can't seem to find a good way to drop it right now. That's Ken in a nutshell.
Perfect. And then Kraken.
The Kraken is the walking natural disaster, a towering monster of 7'2", 480 pounds. He's the current DM belt champion, known for overwhelming power in the ring. Backstage, though, Tony is a really nice guy, and he's going to help make sure you don't get hurt. Just stay in close. I'll take care of you. It's going to be okay. We'll do great.
Awesome. And lastly, we have Matt. Can you please tell us about your character and have you settled on a name? Is it Sub-Fahrenheit?
You know, I used to be a joke. Everybody used to laugh at me until they hurt me and they kept laughing. And then something changed. I started standing up for myself and I became kind of a bad person. But then I got cool and questioning what I am because I'm still cool.
Thank you, Sub-Fahrenheit. By the way, Sub-Fahrenheit, Kraken, and Kent Reed, I do have some bad news. The promotion did advance a level, so all of you need to reset your audience back to their starting levels.
Ooh, we leveled last time?
Yeah. We check it at the beginning of the session, and you have 12. So for 4 people, which is enough. All right. So with those in mind, those details in mind for you. Are you in the sheet there, Louise?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm editing it.
Okay, so you're editing it. Okay, you've got it there. So let me ask you, do you have a name? Do you have a gimmick and a name? And you said you had a picture, so I'm excited.
Yeah, just like for the sake of simpleness and easiness, I'm just gonna straight up lift a character from a book. She's called Rachel. Her wrestler name is going to be Underdog. And I have a couple of pics. I'm going to put it there. She's a very... oops, it was too big. I don't know how to resize that. I'm going to post it in chat and then I'll figure it out later. So
Sure.
She's a big old butch, and she's very much into animal rights. And she's... broaden her platform to more general social issues to get more attention for her thing. She really likes rescuing dogs and speaking against animal cruelty.
That is a pretty awesome picture you've got there. Awesome. So I see the one picture. Let me look at the other picture here. So we've got a mask, not unlike the Sub-Pig mask, but we've got this animal mask. How realistic do you think that is?
I think this picture it's going too far with it. I don't think it covers the whole face. It's just like a very cheap plastic Halloween mask of a dog.
Okay. And otherwise, kind of looks like an army person kind of costume for the rest, a little bit there.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So what we'll need you to do is look at your heat questions and see which 3 you find the most interesting.
Okay. Let me do this real quick. Okay, I think the last 3 are cool. With whom do I have a reluctant alliance?
Ooh. And you can suggest, or if anybody says, ooh, that sounds like me.
I think I'm going to suggest Sub-Fahrenheit because she's really here for the platform that wrestling allows her. She's not really into the whole performance thing, and she just thinks Sub-Fahrenheit is overdoing it. She's a very serious person. She doesn't get along with people, just dogs.
You good with that, Matt?
Yeah, in fact, I'd say Fahrenheit's looking at it like quite the opposite way. That like there's only going to be one animal gimmick in this federation, and if you're going to do an animal gimmick, you're with me now.
I love it. So you will write down that you have 1 heat with sub-Fahrenheit. And then what is your second heat question that you want to ask?
The second is, who wishes they were as cool as me?
Oh, Ken will take that one. He's always thinking everybody else's gimmick is way better than the one he's stuck with.
Nice.
Okay. And the third one is, I'm torn now. Let me just think. I think this one is going to fit in well with Great Kraken. Who
Okay.
do I have to kick the shit out of to show how badass I am?
Are you good with that, Kraken? Do you want to play with that a little bit?
Getting the shit kicked out of me seems terrible, but I suppose it's entirely possible that somewhere along the way you've like blindsided me, taking it to me to prove your toughness. I could see that. Do you think it's backstage or front house?
I think it's more of a backstage thing. She doesn't really get the nuances of human interaction, so she doesn't really get how he can be one person on stage and another backstage.
Okay, how about then, rather than like kicking my ass, that it was more like you like cut and were completely rude and were more than, degrade me, that sort of thing, because I'm sort of that nice guy in the back that you don't see that dichotomy.
Yeah, perfect.
That seemed good because I don't know if I'd have let you beat the shit out of me.
He is our giant. So that's perfect. And you will get an additional heat with Kent Reed. And then I believe for heat purposes, we have a legend and an icon. So you get an additional heat with each of them. So essentially you get an additional heat with each of the other wrestlers.
Awesome.
Well, you did say with legend I count as heel.
Oh, that's right. So is that just for move purposes? Or did we do it for heat purposes last time?
I thought we did it for heat purposes.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll just be then 1 with the Kraken.
Okay.
At 1 with the Kraken. So there we go. All right. So what we're going to do is we've got a couple of mechanical moves that we're going to resolve. And then we're going to do some sort of vignettes and bits before we get to actual matches here. And I'll look at these numbers. So one of the first things we do is at the beginning of the session, we look at who had an audience of 4 from the last session. Audience of 4 is the maximum. Normally, there can only be one person who's at 4. If somebody else hits 4, they get bumped down. But in our case, we had Kent Reed and the Kraken simultaneously hit 4. So they both get to this. So they both get to roll a move called the over move. And basically, this is to see how cool they are and how much people dig them. So I think, Kent, I'm going to have you go first on this. And I'm going to look at the over move. You're going to roll and add your look.
Okay, I rolled a 6 on the dice. I have a look of 2, which gives me a total of 8.
Okay. So with that, you get to choose whether you add or replace a promotion tag, not a trouble, but a tag, or you can pick one, demand to be granted any match you want, call out anyone on the roster to explain themselves and gain a heat with them, or gain a momentum.
What are our current tags now that we've leveled up?
Okay, so let's see where we are. Promotion tags trouble. So we currently only have the trouble hostile silent partner. Our current tags are broadcast deal, social media expertise, home arena, and kid-friendly /PG. Which we'll talk about the fiction of that in just a little bit.
I think what what I want to add there, since we've really gotten back into the local arena scene, is I want to add a add a tag there that's actually strengthening our roster a little bit. I'm going to add the inclusive tag.
Ooh, okay.
Because we established last time that we brought in a new stable of women wrestlers, which is something we didn't necessarily have as many of before. And also a bunch of them apparently are being attached to Kent now through that last little angle we had at the very end of the last episode, which I also wanted to talk about what I would need to do to create them as like a sort of a mini stable. Like what sort of move? I was looking through the playbooks and I didn't see like a stable move, but I didn't know if that was something we could do as part of like a manager or valet move.
Yeah, I would do that as a manager / valet thing. Essentially, give yourself a person, and then we attach it. There's a stable there. I've got that. That would be very cool.
Okay, I think that's what Kent's going to do for his level up move from last time. Since he hit audience 4.
I like it. And when you level up, don't forget to clear any injuries you might have.
Kent's been lucky with that so far.
Yeah, Kraken. Why don't you roll your over move?
Alrighty. oh, poor Kraken. That's a 4.
Is that a 4? Is that what that is? Oh, let me look and see what a botch does on that. So does creative book you with your lowest heat opponent, or debuts and books you with a new non-player wrestler heat 0, or whether the promotion gains a new trouble?
Let's grab that trouble. I screwed with the bookings last time. I'll do this one this time, though I have a chance to screw with them later too. So yeah, let's. I think why don't we put on, considering a little bit of what we've got showing, especially for this episode, theatrical pretensions.
Okay, I like that. I will copy that.
And we've gotten low on troubles anyway.
Yeah. And how do you imagine that the theatrical pretensions of the promotion, how is that manifesting as we move to a PG approach?
I think we have a lot of folks who do things. We've got the Bleakwood Inns. We've got this kind of, we'll see things like Some Pig doing these extremely elaborate storylines. We've got all of these things that are, very soap opera. And I think that we're seeing them doubling down on that. So they're like buying background pieces for more Bleakwood crap. They're getting out there and they're deciding, we should have more people as extras to come in. We should have some Vikings maybe running around helping out Kent, that sort of thing.
That makes sense to me. I like that. So what I want to do is want to come in and we're going to kind of get set up about what is happening there, what is going on. We can do some scenes or bits, but I want to start out with essentially Wolf Backhouse talking to a group of you. He's pulling in groups. He is the general manager. He is backstage. This is done kind of off camera, just so you know that. And at this point, would there be Kent and Kraken, Sub Fahrenheit, Underdog? You're all there. There are a couple of others. And Backhouse says, so I know that you all got the emails. And you heard that they are shifting our broadcast time slot. The network is moving us to 9 a.m. Sunday mornings, and we are having our rating shifted down to PG. It's not clear to me what the forces are behind this decision, whether this is a temporary thing, why they had to rebook us. It's my understanding that there's some hope that this actually might be moving us to more of a prime time broadcast slot, that that's an experiment if we can do well on that. So Kraken, I know that you're going to be fine with this. You know how to work it.
It's going to be great, you know, and anything that gets us up at prime time. Oh my God, that would be just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Kent, your dad pulled together great, solid, entertaining, over the top gimmicks in the past. I know that you're going to find your own voice here and lead us a new way. You should take this opportunity. I mean, if you want to do some shifts in what you're doing, feel free on taking us up on that right now. Okay. This is kind of open season if you want to redefine yourselves. And he turns to Sub Fahrenheit. So no hardcore matches.
Well, I have a question. Like, how many thumbtacks do you think PG allows?
It's my understanding that it doesn't allow any thumbtacks. Sub Fahrenheit.
No, I'm kidding. Kids are gonna love the animal mask. I'm gonna sell a lot of action figures, I'm sure. And I mean, I've never gotten famous going off script before. You can count on me.
Underdog, I know that you're new to us, and you came from a slightly more hardcore promotion. You think you're going to be able to work with this?
Yeah. If a kid touches my dog, they're going to get their hand bitten up. Are there going to be kids in that arena?
So that may not be exactly what we want here. Our intention is this is going to be Sunday morning. At least for the moment, since we're taping in the evenings, I don't think there's going to be that many kids present actually in the audience.
But we could sell like stuffed versions of your little doggy. See, that'd be cute.
I hate cute.
Okay. Well, we certainly got the heel stuff working. So, look, I don't know what's going on. Things are kind of chaotic. I know that, as you may know, our booker is Bleakwood, Jeremy Bleakwood, and his dad's in the hospital. And so he's kind of under some strain. And I know words come down from management. Again, this may be a short-term thing, or it may not be. I just ask that you roll with this as well as you can, and don't get us booted off the network on our first week.
Okay. Can I boot us on the second week?
No. Anyway, so Wolf will go backstage, and we'll be gathering things together. So let's do, before we get to any like the promos or on screen, let's maybe do some backstage bits. I know that Kent, you had some stuff that you wanted to roll out. Do you want to roll it out like on screen as a sequence, or do you want to roll it off screen?
Well, I think the main thing is going to be Kent's trying to sort out what to do with the sort of revelation last time about the Monster Slayers thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to sort of figure out a way, if he can, to twist that away from the Viking, like the Viking thing. But people have been popping so well for that he's almost scared to at this point. So like that was perfect that Wolf tossed him like that Hail Mary is like, do what you want now. It's a whole new thing. And now he's like, crap, if I change it now, after I built up all of this. What are people still going to bite on it?
What do you want to go talk to one of your fellow wrestlers, PC wrestlers, or do you want to talk to one of the NPWs, one of the women who've been brought in?
I think you probably talk with Kraken about this first, and then maybe later on in the show he might want to do like a backstage conversation with one of the new group.
Okay, perfect. So Kraken, where does Kent find you?
I imagine back in the locker room. You know, I'm probably coming in and getting suited up and ready and making sure there's lots of water bottles to pour on my head.
That sounds perfect. So Kent.
Okay. Hey, Kraken, can you talk for a minute?
Sure, Kent.
You heard what Wolf said in there about kind of opening things up a little bit, gimmick-wise, kind of letting us break off a little.
I knew you wanted that, Kent. That's great news.
Yeah, and you know how that old saw about be careful what you ask for. I'm worried that if I try the switch up now and go too hard with it, that I'm going to lose that oomph I've had from the audience this past couple of weeks. I mean,
Ken, have you caught Viking fever?
I've caught getting a big following fever, I think, and I'm a little scared to lose that. But what I was thinking about trying to do, and since you're the current monster on the roster, is maybe going with a Monster Hunter / Monster Slayer gimmick, because we've got you, we've got the Gargoyle Lord, we've got Clarabelle's stable, we've got a whole lot of that, and if we push sort of a monster hunting vibe as opposed to maybe the Viking vibe, maybe that could work. Maybe it could still pull the same idea, and I could still do some of the Viking stuff just to get a pop, but
that seems like a pretty good idea. I mean, I wouldn't mind working with that. That seems good. And I mean, heck, we saw Robbie trying to do something, similar. So, I think it's a good idea. We don't have enough stables here in our wrestling promotion.
Yeah, right now we've just got sort of Clarabelle, so maybe this would work as kind of a competing some competition action for the stables.
I like it. But in practical sense, what do you mean there?
Well, I'm thinking like the feud is the stable would be one that would look like at least it's going after the monsters. Now, you as the DM champion, obviously you would be you would be the one that we had that if the stable ever set its sights on you, it would be something that we would need you to go along with, but we would want it to be a force thing. Like there's not one of us that could take you on, but maybe like at the end of at the end of a build-up, maybe after a long feud with Clarabelle's stable, or whatever else we managed to come up with, you would be kind of like the last of the monsters for the crew to try and take down.
That sounds fine. I think that works. Yeah. Let's go with that. I do think we should put some distance between us for the short term, though. We just finished a feud.
I know that was a great payoff. That's why I was thinking maybe at the far end of something. And if you were willing to go along with that, maybe I'd talk to Wolf about pressing for that. If the other folks that they've brought in to be a part of this thing would be cool with that, because I think they initially sold it as a Viking thing. So I want to talk to them. I don't want to yank the rug out from under anybody if they've already gotten their stuff together.
Well, and don't screw yourself, like you say. What matters is the merch, baby.
That's the main thing I'm worried about. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Kraken.
So we'll cut to the others. Do you have a backstage bit you would like to do? A sub Fahrenheit? Are you frozen? This always happens. So where did underdog come from? Like where do you think she trained like mixed martial arts, or did she come in through the wrestling thing, or how do you think that we got the underdog that we have today?
I think she was into martial arts for a while, but she never had the discipline for it. She just like beating people up, and she got carried away with the whole animal rights thing, so she stopped practicing training, and then she saw wrestling as an opportunity to do both things at once, try to raise attention and also beat people up.
And so what do you think you're like backstage? Do you kind of keep to yourselves, or are you wandering the halls, or what do you think you're about back there?
Yeah, I'm really fussy. I can never stay in the same place for long, and I always try to bring my dogs into the backstage. I have at least 4, and I always have one with me at all times. And they're very well trained and never cause any trouble, but we're always moving around backstage and intimidating people. They're all big dogs.
Okay. That makes sense, you know. So we've got you moving back there, kind of making a name for yourself in and amongst. There's definitely some movement going on in the sort of growing women's league, and one of the women from the new women's league kind of catches up to you. Big woman, solidly built, 6 foot something, solidly built, like really serious and heavy. And she will say, so you're the underdog, eh?
Yeah? Who wants to know?
I'm the Gorgon. That's who I'm doing. Just got brought in a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. So what's the deal with this stuff anyway? Everybody keeps telling me what to do. I thought I was just supposed to come in here and hit some people.
No. Did you do training camp at all?
What's training camp?
Like,
I never went to camp. I don't have any fucking money.
Oh, okay. Well, my suggestion is then until somebody gets to work you through the moves, that you kind of keep things low and slow. Can I walk you through some of the signals?
Yeah.
Okay. And she'll walk you through some of the basic signals about, you know, this is what it means. You need to break off the fight. You know, this means go this way, go that way. She says, you're not going in the ring tonight though, right?
I want to. Why shouldn't I? I know the signs now. I know this stuff. It's like dog training.
Okay. All right. If you think that's the case, I suppose that could be a thing. She'll say, just take it easy out there.
I always take it easy. You don't want to see me when I'm going hard.
No, actually, I don't. That's why I asked you to go easy. Yeah. But I should go talk to Backhouse and make sure everything is going copacetic.
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
And while we wait for Matt to come back, I'm going to cut to Kraken. This woman that you've seen around, that you know she's part of the new stable, big woman, kind of comes and says, Tony, it's Tony, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Gorgon.
Oh, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Going with the mythology thing, or did they give that to you?
They gave it to me. They've got all kinds of weird names for this monster squad we're in. But yeah, I just wanted to, real big fan, be a big fan of your work.
Oh, that's very nice of you.
Hey, everyone I talk to backstage says that you're the guy back here. You and Typhoon Bale are the two kind of den mothers back here.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure everybody's okay. You know, we got to make it through the batches.
Yeah. So this new guy, Gal, Underdog. Have you met her?
Yeah, she's kind of got a potty mouth sometimes.
I don't think she's gone through any kind of training.
What? Well, I mean, they can't possibly be thinking of having her wrestle then.
I think they are.
Oh, good Lord.
But I don't think so. I don't think they've got, you might want to go talk to Wolf and see if you can go in the ring against her just to make sure nothing goes bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's probably for the best. All right. Well, it was really nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, too. Very good. Very good. Yeah. She kind of looks, you see her kind of look around, make sure she doesn't see Sub Pig, and, heads off in another direction. So, Matt, did your little thing go out?
My router has just been like in a reboot loop, so now I'm on my phone.
Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to move us to the first match, if that's cool with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we do is we typically have a last week on, which includes like for people who are new wrestlers, what would be the sort of highlight package. So Kent, when we get to the arena, we get to the event. What is your last week on look like?
Well, I think it's going to be a video package of a lot of him and Kraken, because that was the big payoff last week. Was that final match of that feud? You see, like back when he started, you see that that big sledgehammer blow from their first big match. You see him get that spine buster in like I think it was their second match, and then you end up seeing the body slam from that final match.
Nice.
And that's all set to his theme music. And then as the end of part of that package, you see him being carried out by the new squad. Nothing mentioned about them, just you saw them come out, and they've all got all sorts of different looking gimmicks, and we'll hopefully get into that later in the show.
Perfect. And then Sub Fahrenheit, what does your package look like? What does your last week on look like?
Okay, so instead of like being literal, it starts with a horrible cacophony that's like a mashup of Zuckerman's Famous Pig from Charlotte's Web, I Like to Hurt People from the soundtrack of the film of the same name, and the terrible bootleg cover of Don't Stop Me Now. All these are a cheap, stitched together with like, the Windows free tools kind of mashup. And they're showing like a video package that's kind of like a retrospective like approach to Sub Pig's career, all the comedy stuff, then cut to the hardcore stuff, then cut to the Mr. Fahrenheit stuff. And in between these, the kind of amalgamation that we saw a week before last. Just kind of playing up, the mystery of what's happening. Maybe the announcers of, kind of asking, like, what is this? What are we calling this guy now? Like that stuff is playing over it.
Perfect. And for Underdog, what do you imagine the video package looks like? The introducing. What does that look like?
I think she's the kind of person who would just say, like, just do whatever, I don't care. And put together this really corny footage of dogs running in a field, but put over loud rock music over it, and it just bless her names as the whole thing goes up in flames.
It's the public domain version of Who Let the Dogs Out, you know, done by heavy metal guitars.
Yeah, and that's her entrance music. I was actually picking that for her entrance music, and she's like, just pick whatever.
I like that. Definitely. That works. So they see that package. And then we see, you know, they get the animation of the belt kind of lands, and we see the last week on for the Kraken. What do we see from that?
I think we see a montage of some of the big hits. We see, you know, that taking the tsunami slam when he took down Coliseum. We see a big choke slam on Clarabelle. We see that laying on his back, managing the enziguri kick to the back of Kent Reed's head. And then we probably see that final big tsunami slam for Kent Reed. And then, of course, the and ominous bits of lightning flashing as he looks across for the next victim.
Perfect. And you guys aren't on for a little bit. They have some NPW wrestling matches. We haven't seen Spider Kid for a while, but we've got him in the ring against Venomous, who is clearly been told to take it super easy. You know, Venomous looks in like a black suit, so there's a good match there. And then we see Stan the Percolator Steiger. You know, he has his arm, you know, wrapped up after last week after he was injured. And we see him against Rattler Queen just to get him a little more exposure. And then we're going to cut to a one-on-one match with Sub Fahrenheit versus Kent Reed. So Sub Fahrenheit, when we come to you, do we do an interview or a backstage thing or another video package for you getting set up for the match?
I think what we'd have is like kind of a backstage interview segment, right? Because there's been like a lot of questions. So it'd be kind of framed as if the interviewer is catching up to him in the back and sticking the microphone in his face.
Victoria Onyx is coming. She's like, so it's Sub Fahrenheit now, is it? Sub Fahrenheit?
You know, interviewer Wanda. Your name's Wanda, isn't it?
Victoria, close.
It doesn't speak very well of me that I didn't remember your name, because that's not very respectful. And a lot of people have been asking about my name, and I don't see what you don't understand. I am Mr. Fahrenheit. Mr. Fahrenheit's so big. There's no conflict here. In fact, I have never felt more like the real me. I'm really living my best life, Victoria. You know, I've always had my pretty kitties, and now I've got the underdog with me. And you know what they call a lady dog, don't you, Victoria? That's right. The underdog's my best friend. And I am living the life that I've always wanted, of swine, women, and song. Now let's go out and do some championship wrestling, shall we?
So this sounds more like work the audience than it does actually cutting a promo.
All right.
Does that seem fair?
That does seem fair.
Okay. So what is your audience currently?
I don't know, because I can, let's see, maybe my computer will work now. Let me see if I can get back in. Otherwise, if you could take a look at my character sheet, that's probably
We've got an audience of one. So do you want us to roll for you?
If you could, that'd be super.
Okay. I'm going to roll these yellow dice that we have on the roll for your party. I'm going to roll this with a +1. So that's a 12 right out of the gate. So this lands. So the audience pop. They are so excited to see, there was a week off for you. They want to know what's going on. They're very excited. You're going to get 2 momentum for that. So that hits hard. People are digging it. And what does the promo, the setup for Kent Reed look like?
I think you're going to see Kent backstage. He is emerging out of the crowd that he was with at the end of the last show. You see him step out through them, and he's got sort of a new look here. He's got a like a biker style vest with like fur trim, and he is showing that he's going to. I'll see. He sort of stalks forward, and I think Victoria Onyx sort of steps in front of him with the microphone. Just out of her interview with the pig, and saying, "Kent, you've heard what Sub Fahrenheit just said." And Kent looks at her and said, "I heard what he said. I don't know what he's talking about, but I definitely heard what he said."
Who are these women who rescued you last week from the beating, the severe beating that you took at the hands of the Kraken?
Well, this is the Wild Hunt. And we talked a bit last week about this plague of monsters that's been afflicting Gauntlet City Wrestling. And starting tonight, the Wild Hunt is going to be hunting them down. You're going to be seeing a lot of us. And for a lot of the monsters here, that's going to be really bad news.
And she'll kind of pull back. So is Sub Fahrenheit a monster?
I'm not sure what he is, but we'll find out.
Okay.
Talks toward the ring. I'm gonna. Is it a cut a promo?
I think that's cut a promo. So why don't you roll with look?
Okay. Let's see how this works out. Okay, that is a 7.
That is a 7. So on that, you get them to pay attention. You can have creative book you in a particular match. You can add a stipulation to the match. You can gain a momentum, or you can gain a heat with Sub Fahrenheit.
Let's see. I think I'm going to take the momentum.
Okay. That makes sense to me. So with that in mind, what's going to happen is I'm going to ask the wrestlers to describe their entrance. We're going to get them in the ring. Tyler is going to be the announcer for this match, which means that he can step in and put someone over, meaning boost them up a result. He can do that for each wrestler once per match, and he'll give some color commentary when it comes in. So what you can do, underdog, while this is going on is, this is a chance to kind of watch and see what's going on. If you get bored, you can do a run-in. There's some mechanics for doing this, but this is a good chance to see how this plays out. Does that sound fair? Okay. So Sub Fahrenheit, what does your entrance look like now?
All right. It's the
So they start getting the music up for Sub Fahrenheit's entrance, like they start getting it set, and there'll be that jag when it kind of does the skip, and Wolf will look to you, Kent, and say, I need you to go and take your entrance now. Somebody screwed something up. They're trying to run a multi-track for Sub Fahrenheit's thing, and it's not working. Can you go do that?
Sure.
Okay. I want you to, and he says, drag it out.
All right.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
On Wolf will say.
Well, right now, Wolf because your music screwed up, they're holding you backstage. They're sending Kent in while they get your music set. So Kent's doing his entrance now, and then we'll have Sub Fahrenheit come in. So Kent, what does your entrance look like?
Okay, Kent's coming out. He's got the music hits. You've got the mist, because by God, they're still going to use that machine to death. And he comes out, and the lighting now is a red lighting, like they're doing some red, like spotlighting down the. He comes out instead of doing his normal run, he like stalks out, and right behind him, as sort of coming out in sort of a V formation behind him, is that stable that we saw him with the end of last show. And he looks back to them, he nods, and they pull back, and he stalks down to the ring, slides in underneath, and goes to the turnbuckle and starts basically just pumping up the crowd, like raising the roof, really going to each turnbuckle in turn, going around to each rope. He's stretching it out just like Wolf asked him to.
Okay.
And he's going for some cheap heat right now.
Okay, and once per session, you can ask for cheap heat. What is your cry to Gauntlet City?
Gauntlet City, the wild hunt starts tonight.
We're getting a little bit of echo from Matt, I think, there. So it actually is reverbing.
I try.
Yeah, so you'll get an extra momentum. You're up in the ring. We've got some of the wild hunt there behind you. We'll figure out who they are. We know that Gorgon is one of them, and there's a couple others, but you may have recostumed them, so we'll talk about that. So let's cut now. They go, all right, Sub Fahrenheit, we got your music set now. You can go ahead and take your entrance. Sub Fahrenheit.
All right.
Oh,
So the music starts playing, the lights go off. He comes out. I think I'm gonna go for some cheap heat here, because he comes out. He's wearing, again, it's a big bare-chested belly hanging out, leopard print scarves wrapped around, tie-dye bandana over the pig mask, and he's doing like a over-the-top baby face kind of thing.
I think we're going to have Sub Pig go onto his phone when he comes back from this one. Matt has never had these kinds of issues unless he's been on the road. I apologize, guys.
That's just bad luck. Stupid technology always gets in the way.
Yeah.
We're back here in Gauntlet City, everybody. It's Big Bob Buckland, and you should get ready for Gauntlet City Wrestling. It's gonna be a hootenanny and a holler.
Yeah, so
I'm back now.
okay. All right.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We'll keep you on the phone for this.
Yeah, I'm not, yeah, no more going back to the computer.
Okay.
I love this game so much, I'll pay for the bandwidth. So where was I? Okay, I'm coming out, I'm slapping hands with the crowd. It's Sunday morning! It's Sunday morning! We're all gonna go to church after this! And he's going for a cheap heat here. He's playing to the smart fans that know, kind of, they've seen on the sheets that we're getting a PG product now. And he's playing with them.
Perfect.
And then he turns around and goes back behind the curtain and grabs a shopping cart that he has covered with a sheet. Because Wolf Backhouse might have said no hardcore matches. But I have a rule that says I can make any match a hardcore match.
All right. So you will drive the shopping cart down to the ring. And you are invoking the tables and ladders and chairs. Oh, my.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So we have the hardcore stipulation in there. Should it be necessary? So I assume you enter in the ring. Are you armed when you enter the ring?
No, I've just got my mysterious covered shopping cart with me.
Okay.
And I'm leaving it at the side of the ring as I enter.
It looks like this little piggy went to market.
Oh. Kent, you are going to start in control of the match. So tell me how this starts out. What's this first sequence here? Got the bit. I mean, and how tall is Sub Fahrenheit? He's pretty tall, right?
He's probably about like a legit like 6'2", 6'3". He's a big dude.
Okay. So how does this look, Kent?
Well, Kent's a little bit taller than Sub Fahrenheit, but probably not by much. I got him somewhere around like 6'4", 6'5".
I probably got some weight on you.
Very probably. So it's a straightforward tie-up. It doesn't look like either one of them is really having a severe physical advantage over the other. We tie up a little bit, and I think Kent pushes Sub Fahrenheit towards the ropes, does basically an Irish whip off the ropes, and comes off and hits a clothesline. And then follows it up like it's early in the match for a clothesline to take anybody down. So I think Sub Fahrenheit pops back up from that relatively quickly, and then Kent basically hits him with a shoulder block that sort of makes him stumble back into the turnbuckle, and then Kent move in on him from there.
And what's the high point? What's the point at which we need to roll here?
I think it's going to be basically that shoulder block into the turnbuckle.
Okay. So does that sound like work?
I think so. It's pretty
okay.
Nothing fancy. No power. No muscling him up or anything like that. Okay, that would be a total of 6, but I'm going to spend 1 momentum to make that a 7.
Okay, so now you have a choice then when that happens. Do you want to keep control of the match, or do you want to give control over to Sub Fahrenheit, put him your fate in his hands, and gain a momentum?
I'm absolutely terrified of doing that, but I think I want to keep that momentum. So
okay, so Sub Fahrenheit, please tell me how you take.
There's a difference between the two.
Fair enough. So how do you take control of the match there, Sub?
All right, so he's laying in, and I lean into him and I say, "You gotta hit me a little harder if you want me to sell it like this." And so I'm getting those shoulder blocks, and I just turn in with a big elbow and really, really lay in with it. Then a couple more, and this isn't like I'm not killing him, but they're snug. They look good. And just laying in with some hard elbows that he's feeling. Then a whip into the ropes. And I want to position him such that he's like got his back to where my shopping cart is outside the ring. And get him in a pop-up off the ropes as I whip him in. And I start going like I'm going to do a running power bomb onto the cart.
Okay. So what do you think that is? Is this heat? This is a pretty big sequence you're doing here.
I think this is look because it's all bullshit. I'm actually following the PG rules. I'm not going to power bomb him through a cart.
Okay.
Can you give me the dice roller?
Yeah. Let me grab copy. I'll drop it in the chat here. There you go.
All right. Or can you put it in the Gmail chat? Because I'm not.
Oh, that's right. You're.
Actually, I could probably go in just to get that. But anyway, the Gmail chat's probably easier. My apologies for the technical difficulties, guys.
Grab.
Would you believe I do this for a living?
Well, we have a friend, as you well know, who has multiple PhDs, and every single week for 4 years he could not get his Skype to work. So, okay, I dropped that in the chat.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Good Lord, this looks dangerous.
All right.
And your look is a 1.
All right, so that's a 7.
Okay, so do you want to keep control of the match, or do you want to hand control off?
The point is, I want now, like the success of that roll is that I've got him up in like a running pop-up power bomb. We're charging towards the ring. I'm teasing that I'm going to smash him onto that mysteriously covered shopping cart. And then I'm going to like hold him up where he's going to be positioned to reverse it on me.
Okay. So you're going to take that momentum and hand that over.
Yes, I am.
What does the broadcast table think about that?
Oh my goodness, that just we would have seen a murder here. Thank God, it looks like Kent is going to save himself.
And I think Kent's going to reverse it with kind of a bit of a surprise move on this one. He's going to do a Hurricane Rana.
Ooh,
the power out of that, and it's basically the Hurricane Rana is going to fling Sub Fahrenheit into one of the turnbuckles.
Oh, and that's the legs around the neck kind of swing through.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically he swings around and basically does, Sub Fahrenheit is sort of whipped face first into one of the turnbuckles and is slumped against them after that.
Okay. Does that seem like the big spot, or are you following up on that?
I think I'm following up on that. That's just the reversal off of the end of his move. I think the big spot's going to come. Kent's going to basically go over to the turnbuckle. He's going to basically switch him around to where he's facing, and he's going to do an Irish whip into the far turnbuckle, and then is going to charge in with a shoulder block to the gut.
Okay. So does that seem like work? That seems like a classic set of standard moves there.
Yep. That's what Kent's doing.
Okay, let's have you roll with work.
That would be a 7.
That is a 7. Again, these trade-offs here. Do you want to keep control, or do you want to give him control and take that momentum, that sweet momentum?
I want that sweet momentum.
All right. So the spear, the shoulder block comes in, it hits Sub Pig, and then Sub Pig, what do you do?
Surprising the world, when the shoulder block comes in, Sub Pig rolls through into a schoolboy and goes for a quick surprise pinfall.
So you're not known for pinfalls. So does that sound like work?
I think that's work.
Yeah. Let's have you roll work. Not your strength.
Not my strong point. So that's a 7 plus or minus 1. That's a 6. I will spend a momentum to make that a 7.
Okay. So do you want to keep control or hand it off and get that momentum back?
I want to keep control.
Okay.
And so I surprisingly, and like the boys in the back that are watching are like, okay, now he's just screwing with them because they told him to do PG. And I pick him up and I hit a big atomic drop on him. And from the atomic drop, I lean in and I go for the stomach claw.
So this definitely sounds like look.
Yes.
And I can't wait to hear how the announcer table is going to sell this.
Oh my goodness, we went from schoolboy to a whole belly crunch. Look at that. And remember, everybody, Blunt Sausages sponsored us today. Roll yourself up a fatty with Blunts.
So that's an 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after you do the stomach claws, do you hand control back?
Yeah. And I said to him, okay, now lay in and get me out of the ring if you can.
All right, Kent.
And says, you got it. I think basically, as he's got the abdominal claw on, Kent snaps up 2 really stiff-looking knees to his head, like basically doing like a Muay Thai clutch on his head, and then slamming a knee in there to get him to break the claw. It looks really nasty, but because he's got the head and is able to channel it, he's not really working stiff.
Okay.
And as Sub Fahrenheit rolls off of that, I think Kent sort of staggers back up, gets himself up into the turnbuckle, and as Sub Fahrenheit sort of pulls himself back up by the ropes, I think Kent is going to charge in and clothesline him out of the ring.
Okay. Is that same like work or heat?
That sounds like it's probably work. It seems like a pretty standardized spot. It's not like
that seems perfect. Go ahead and roll it.
That will be a 9.
It's a 9. Do you want to stick?
And I'll spend a momentum to make that a 10.
So it lands well, so when you hit that solid 10, you can take 2 momentum, or you can gain a heat with Sub Fahrenheit.
Let's see. I think I'm going to try and gain a heat with Sub Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So 2 heat with him.
You still have control of the match. Sub Fahrenheit's thrown out of the ring. Hits, and of course, Sub Fahrenheit could now spend momentum to interrupt and take control back if he wanted to. But I'm
gonna go with it.
Okay. So what happens next then, Kent?
I think Kent's going to after he sees that Sub Fahrenheit is safely out there and took the bump okay. I think Kent's going to come outside and he's going to basically grab Sub Fahrenheit and slowly pick him up and say, "Okay, what do you want to do out here?"
All right, go to the shopping cart and give me a chance to stun you.
Okay. Kent basically picks him up and is dragging him over towards the area where the shopping cart is, and I think Kent's going to look like he's going to slam Sub Fahrenheit's head into the shopping cart. And then Sub Fahrenheit blocks it, like the classic double hand block, and then hits him with an elbow to the gut to sort of double him over.
Okay. And this is you pushing it, so you still roll your wrestling move work for that. Yeah. And then you can hand control off.
Okay. That would be a total of 6. I'm going to spend momentum to make that a 7, and then take him back and hand control over.
Perfect. What happens now, Sub Fahrenheit?
All right, so I've reversed it. I've got him with the elbows, and then I put his head into the corner of the shopping cart. And thinking of back, they're sucking up some seat cushion, afraid of where this might lead. He gets thrown on the ground. The tarp gets thrown off the cart. And there are like those Home Depot orange buckets in there, a couple of them. And he reaches into one, sticks his hand in deep, and comes up with like a Thanksgiving turkey on his fist that he has just shoved his hand into the cavity of as the water is dripping off it because it was in a brining bucket. And he now starts viciously laying into his prone opponent on the floor with the turkey fist.
Oh, my Lord, what a foul beatdown we're seeing today.
And I want to say this is hardcore violence because I'm just beating him with a foreign object, even though it's a ridiculous one.
All right, let's have you roll your hardcore violence. Use a weapon. Roll real.
All right, so that's 8, and I think my reel is bad.
Your reel is 0.
It's
so
0,
just
so
an
8. You know what does a 10 get me? I'm sorry, I don't have the rule book up.
Yeah, absolutely. So a 10 on hardcore. On a 10 plus, the crowd goes nuts gain an audience, retain control of the match, and you get to pick one from the 7 to 9 list. It's worth it.
Yeah, it is worth it. So the crowd is actually feeling the turkey beating. I've gained an audience, and then I will take a momentum.
You get 2 momentum.
Oh, 2 momentum and hand it back.
Okay. So Kent, he is beating you with this turkey, and the crowd is loving it.
Okay, I think what Kent's going to do is he goes for a jumping turkey punch, like dropping down, almost like a fist drop with the turkey, and Kent rolls out of the way so that he hits, and the turkey is now broken to pieces, like the legs have popped off the side. So he's destroyed.
And strangely, he's selling that as if the broken turkey hurt him.
So we get that, and Kent basically rolls back up to his feet, looks down at sub Fahrenheit, looks over to the cart, and pauses, steps over to the cart, and reaches in. And Kent's going to roll with this too, because why the heck not? We've already started it. Kent reaches down into another one and pulls out a fully sized and cooked Christmas ham. And he looks at it, and he looks back down at sub Fahrenheit, shakes his head, and then starts laying into him with the ham.
All right. Well, we've established that this is a weapon, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So let's have you roll hardcore.
All right, and that is that plus real? Is that right?
That's plus real.
Oh God, I'm glad I got that extra momentum saved up.
Good Lord, I hope this isn't one of Sub Fahrenheit's family members.
Ooh, that would be. I don't have enough momentum to bring that up. That is a 4 on the dice, minus 2 from my real, for a total of 2. So I don't have enough momentum to bring that up there, unless somebody might want to put that ham beating over.
Good Lord Almighty, heavens forbid! Oh, this is inhuman. It's practically porcine. And I will put you over.
Oh, thank you.
So with the hardcore being put up a level by the announcer, then what that is means that you get to pick one from the 7 to 9 list. Someone gets injured, you gain 2 momentum, or you gain a heat with your opponent.
Let's see. I think I'm going to take the extra heat. That'll put me up to 3 heat with him. And I think Louise was thinking about possibly doing a run-in with the dog going for the ham, which might be a really interesting bit.
So you spend a momentum to interrupt, and then you're going to roll. Do you think you're going after Kent Reed?
Yeah, I think my dog runs in to try to bite the ham, and just Kent reflexively tries to kick him off, and then I just get pissed. And I rush up chase.
So you have a 2 heat with Kent, so you're going to roll with a +2, and let's see what happens.
I got a 10.
10, look at that. So it's hot. Sub Pig, you're kind of staggering back from the ham-fisted blow. Then we see Kent, and then the dog comes in, and Underdog's following up. So Kent, you get a heat with Underdog. Underdog, you get a heat with Kent.
Peppa! What am I doing to you, Peppa? Oh no, Peppa!
And then you also get one from the 7 to 9 list for the run-in. And it's you that get to pick that one. You attack them in the ring, resulting in their opponent getting DQ'd, and Kent would win the match. Your interference doesn't change the result of the match, but Creative can book you in a match later in the episode. Or your interference doesn't change the result, but their opponent comes after you for interfering.
Oh, the last two are very tempting. I'm gonna go with the middle one. I want underdog to go toe to toe with Ken.
Okay. So tell me what it looks like when this happens, and how you kind of pull back from this, and then what does the sort of the shouting look like?
Okay, so this huge mixed breed dog just rushes into the stage, and it just bites the ham, and it almost envelops the whole ham with its mouth. It's so big, and then Kent just pulls his hand, wrenches his hand away, and as he does it, his foot just glances up the dog, like it barely scratches it, and underdog just goes, they're gonna have to mute this. So you're not gonna touch any of my dogs, and she just jumps over I don't know what you call it, the little things on the sides of the ring.
Yeah, just over the fence.
Yeah, she jumps over the fence and she just lays a punch on him, like not even thinking about it. And then the crowd goes wild. They go, "Whoa!" and they're booing her. And she goes startled for a second, but then she grabs a mic and she goes, "Nobody should be cruel to animals." And she drops the mic and hauls the dog on her arms, and she has big arms, and she just moves away from the stage, stomping away.
Perfect. So the kind of left speechless after this interference. Who has control of the match now? Is it Sub Pig or Kent Reed? I'll let you pick, Louise.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Pig.
Sub Fahrenheit. This interference has given you an advantage. What do you do?
All right, and I'm laying in. He gets whipped into the corner of the outside on the railing there, and slumps down on his butt, legs out in the corner, and I'm paintbrushing him across the face. You shouldn't be cruel to animals. This is what happens when you're cruel to animals. You make me less than an animal, and you betray me. All of you! And he walks back to the shopping cart, and he reaches into the third bucket and pulls out a bowling ball. And like Fred Flintstone does a big wind up and rolls it, aiming right between the legs of Kent.
Let's have you roll hardcore bowling violence.
Where are you? Roll for your party.
Get a reel of 0.
Seems like an invasion from PETA here. Remember, nothing beats a good blunt sausage on a PETA. Get yourself a smoking blunt.
I'm going to spend the momentum to make that a 10.
10. So again, audience goes nuts. You get another audience. So I think that is going to actually.
I think 3.
Yeah, it takes you up to 3. And then from the 7 to 9 list, you get to choose. Someone gets injured, you gain 2 momentum, or you gain a heat with your opponent.
I will take a 2 momentum.
Here's the thing: that momentum is delightful, but Kent is booked to win.
Outstanding. So yes, I will do that, and I will pass the control over to him.
Okay, Kent, you're booked to win. So do you want to try and go for your finisher?
Yep.
Tell me how you get to that.
Okay. What's gonna happen is he takes the bowling ball, and Kent sort of.
How well does he sell the bowling ball hitting him?
Oh, he sells it hard. Like he takes it and he's like rolling around on the ground. And I think Sub Fahrenheit comes over and is basically having to physically drag him and roll him back into the ring. And I think at that point, Sub starts to roll back in. He drops the horrifically damaged turkey onto the floor outside in a puddle of brine, and rolls back under the ropes, shakes his hand off a little bit, and looks like he's going to. He's sort of stalking Kent and yelling to the crowd, and Kent slowly gets back up, and Sub Pig basically runs at him. Kent dodges that and runs and comes off the ropes with his running double knee, and takes him out.
Okay, so let's have you roll 2d6.
Oof, that would be a 3. And I've got 3 momentum, so that's all I can. I could only raise it up to a 6.
All right, so on a botch, unless the announce table. Oh, you already put him over once, right?
Yep.
Okay. So on a botch, choose an authority figure interferes and calls the match in your favor on a technicality, or there was a last-minute change to booking from backstage and your opponent wins.
I'm going to think it's a last-minute booking thing. I think that gimmick, the food gimmick, really got over with the audience a lot bigger than they thought. And they're like, no, switch this up. Let Sub Pig sneak one.
Okay. So Sub Pig, you get to roll your finisher then.
All right. And I'm not going to use iconic. I'm not going to use my iconic finisher on this one.
Okay.
Because what I'm doing is reaching into my trunks, pulling out a handful of lunch meat, and hitting the mandible claw with it in my.
All right. Let's have you roll.
So that's a 6. I will spend the momentum to bring that up to a 7.
7. So that is they make you work for it.
Now, I can put over each wrestler, right?
Yeah, you can put over each wrestler once.
Oh, well, hell yeah, then. Oh, my Lord, look at that. Oh, I know where that sandwich meat has been.
All right. So 10 plus. You hit your finisher clean.
All right.
Either you gain an audience or
I'm going to gain an audience. Yes.
Okay. So Sub Fahrenheit walks away a hero
for doing the dumbest shit ever.
And the audience goes wild. Hit that. Can't read. The probably your stable gets up in the ring at that point and kind of pushing Sub Pig away, kind of getting in the way, kicking the lunch meat, getting Kent up and trying to push towards the outside, and we get a little bit of that in the ring throwdown for a bit. We're going to take our 5-minute break here. When we come back, we are going to put Kraken and Underdog in the ring. I'll give a chance for any backstage stuff before we do that, but we will put them in the ring. That is the plan. So take 5.
Oh, poor Kent. It would figure that his first match under that new gimmick would would end up with a lunch meat finisher.
That was not pretty. That was not pretty at all.
Still, it was a hell of a match.
It was. It was a good match.
It was fun.
I gotta say, I think for our first match with the kiddies, that was the match. They, we get a crotch shot with a bowling ball. We have a food beat down, and then a sliced meat submission hold.
Sliced meat submission.
And a dog.
Yeah.
And a dog.
So
that seems like the full package. Matt, are you trying the computer again?
I am. Are you getting any echo right now?
Yeah.
All right, this isn't working then. I'm trying to keep the phone on, like in reserve, so I can just fail over to it. But I don't know how to shut it up entirely.
Let me see if I'm still hearing the echo. No, I don't think I'm not hearing echo now.
All right, what about now?
Just a little bit.
Oh man, maybe.
When you talk.
How much battery do I have? I'm gonna use the highly technical, sophisticated means of sticking it in a couch cushion.
Fair enough. All right. So, do we want to do any backstage stuff, or do we want to go ahead and just roll into this next match? What do you guys think?
I think backstage is when we come back. I would just pull Kent aside for a second and say, "That's why you have to hit hard, because they know I'm not bullshit. So now I can give them nothing but bullshit." Get it, kid?
Oh man. Well, hey, the segment went over. They love that out there.
Yeah, we had a meat fight because my shit looks good, and they loved it. You were laying in good at the end, but you got to start like that.
I'll keep that in mind. Hey.
Nice.
Thanks for selling the ham bone.
I can't believe we did a ham on a pig, and they bought it.
I don't know where you got all that stuff on such short notice.
You'd be surprised what you can get the rats to do for you.
I want to continue to be surprised by that.
Okay. Tyler, did you say you wanted to do a backstage bit?
Yeah, to kind of bring full circle our narrative, I do think I go with, after Gorgon had spoken to me, I go to Wolf, and I'm like, Wolf, and they're probably already talking up that Underdog has done the eyes towards Kent. We've got a whole thing where that's kind of a thing going on. I'm like, Wolf, this Underdog, I'm hearing that like she hasn't even gone through camp, Wolf.
Yeah, I just found that out.
That's dangerous, Wolf.
Yeah. If I had some people to spare right now, but part of the problem is that the flu is running through the roster here.
Well, at the very least, Wolf, let me go in with her. I can cover her, and if she gets a little wild, I can take it. But Kent's my buddy, but he's already been through a match. Something slips up there, and somebody will get hurt.
Okay. Yeah, that seems fair. Let me move a couple things around. And I know that we wanted to get a couple more of the women in there. So I'm going to throw one of Kent's stable in while we get Underdog set up.
All right. Good, Kent. I'm sorry, Wolf.
And we'll cut to, we see a non-player wrestler match. It's Gargoyle Lord versus Ash with an E. She's dressed like Ash from Evil Dead. This is, of course, Terminatrix dressed up in that outfit, and she will triumph over the monster in that match there. And in the meantime, Underdog, you're told that you are going to be facing the Kraken here in your debut match at Gauntlet League Wrestling. So I think we're going to start with you. Tell me what is the promo we see for you? What kind of visual? Is it an interview? Is it just a shot of you backstage? What do we see?
So it's a shot backstage, and she's just sitting in this huge armchair with 4 dogs around her, and she's scratching their heads, and they're all big, intimidating dogs with chains for collars. And the cameraman is just focused on her, and she's not doing anything. She's just, and it's just a really slow zoom towards her face, and you hear someone whisper, "Is she gonna do anything? We gave her the script. I don't think she read it." And she just says, "I'm gonna hurt them. I'm gonna hurt them bad. Be kind to animals." And it just cuts.
That seems perfect to me. So I think that's you working the audience rather than actually cutting a promo. It's a slightly different move. So let's have you roll your audience. Your starting audience is a 1.
Yeah, not good. I got a 6.
Okay. Audience is, what is it that I think it's mostly that it feels really raw and unfinished, and you're not projecting it, so they cut quickly out of it. Like they're not digging it at all. And we slide right into Kraken's promo. Kraken, what does your promo look like?
Kraken doesn't do interviews because that voice not so great with those. So instead, we have the package. I think we see the waves, we see the lightning, we see the belt superimposed over the top of it, and then up from the water rises Kraken. As we look across, he's looking out from the Titantron, and there are those who think they can stand in the way of a natural disaster. The Kraken devours cities, devours nations, and today he will devour dogs.
All right. That sounds like a cut of promo. We've clearly associated the dogs with Underdog.
Yep.
So roll with your look.
Oh, that is ever so bad.
And don't you have a first time you're in?
Oh, I do. I should roll that as well. Let me roll that real quick, too. I have already rolled a 3 for my terrible, terrible promo.
Okay.
But we'll see if maybe I can do a little... 4, 5. My legend move lets me pop it up real quick. Yes. So with my legend move, I'm rolling with audience. That takes it up to a 7. So I pick one. The crowd's popping. And I am going to take the 1 audience.
Okay.
I'll take that back. I'm going to take the heat. I'm going to take the heat.
Okay.
All right.
So that hits, and we cut from that. Underdog, what does your entrance look like? What do we hear? What do we see?
So we hear the amazing metal cover of Who Let the Dogs Out. It's linked in the the sheet.
It's great.
And she just walks in with somebody decided to hire a couple of male strippers with dog collars around their necks and have her carry their leashes towards the stage. And she's just like doing this really bothered face as she's moving there, and she's like raising her fists in the air while she's holding these leashes. And then she points to the side when she gets to the ring, and they just get on all fours and walk away, and she just steps in.
It's a humiliating cameo for some of the developmental talent in the area. So we'll get them set up there. Yeah, you get in there, you get in the ring, you are set, and they'll cut that music. And what is the Kraken's music? What do we hear then?
We get that dirty guitar of Clutch's "Unleash the Kraken" as he comes in. Now, that promo, it really stunk. So, he's coming in kind of back a little. He did okay with them recognizing that legend, but that was a terrible promo where he was talking bad about dogs. Kids don't like when you say mean things about dogs. And so, instead, Kraken is moving away from that and going much more for his big, the lightning, the smoke. And as he comes down, he's roaring towards the crowd as he moves up. But I do think we have set up over there the Gauntlet City Middle School Glee Club is there. And so as Kraken, yes.
I have to ask you a question, Kraken, now at this point, because you botched that first roll.
I did.
Who is sitting there in the audience that you don't want to see? Is it a relative? Is it an ex? Is it somebody who doesn't know that you do this? Who is it?
I think that looking over there across the audience, I see... Oh, I'm from Gauntlet City. I think that Glee Club teacher was my teacher. And will be so because you had such a lovely voice, Tony.
Yeah. So he looks at you. It's like this a look of shock and absolute disappointment.
Oh. And so there's a moment where Kraken kind of, because I was going in for the big yell at the kids, and moves up, kind of breaking that character. So he just rushes to the stage. He'd look for some chief heat, but no, instead he's just getting in the ring. Maybe I could make him proud of me.
Papa. Chris, Matt, wonder both you can be on the announcer's table here while we do this.
All right, so the sub pig will run up to the announcer's booth. I'm sorry, announcer Guillaume Jabroni, is that your name?
It's Jabron.
It doesn't appear that you're on the format sheet tonight. I'm going to be calling the match for the underdog because she is my biggest fan.
Guillaume turns and talks to the other announcer and tech people, pointing. What?
They'll move a chair over for sub Fahrenheit and put mics in front of both of you. So the match has gotten off to a rocky start. People things aren't landing. Can we rescue this? Kraken, you are the experienced wrestler. Despite the botches, you're going to start in control of this match.
Alrighty, well, Kraken will do the step over the top rope and look across towards Underdog, and we'll stalk to the center of the ring. And I imagine Underdog's there to meet him, and they start giving the jaw, and okay. Now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna. Why don't you go early? Hit me good and hard. It's gonna be fine. It'll be fine. Then I'll do some impact. Give you a chance to come back up, and then, I'll probably finish you off.
You said you want me to hit you hard. Is that it?
Well, yeah, within reason.
I'm gonna hit you hard now. And she just
and she just lays out and clocks Kraken in the jaw, and you see Kraken kind of stumble back and look at that, and move in to kind of a clutch. And I think we see Underdog like going with these body blows as he's in the clutch, and Kraken kind of and just in desperation go to a over the top slam to try and get the hell off me, sort of thing.
They should have called the Underdog a bulldog. This is madness.
So good. I think as she's being thrown on the ring, you just see this really angry look past her face, and she snarls up at Kraken, and then she gets up like one of those.
Well, we're going to actually resolve the move first, and we'll see,
sorry.
because the Kraken might actually screw this up or do awesome. We'll see. So, Kraken, do you think this is a feat of strength, or do you think this is a power move?
I think it's I think it's a power move.
Okay, then let's have you roll your wrestling move with power, which is a +3 for you because you are the giant.
And I needed it. That's an 8. By the way, I needed to update my momentum. I have gained 1 momentum for coming into the ring because of the Merciato, and yes, so I have 1 extra there. And I think I'm going to spend 2 of them to get me up to a 10.
Okay, so that will get you up to a 10. You can keep control of the match. Do you want to gain a heat with the Underdog or 2 momentum?
I'm going to gain a heat with the Underdog. I think that's the route I want to take.
Okay, so Underdog, you were describing, it slams you down and you kind of snarling as you kind of come up off the mat.
Yeah, and I come up in like that martial artist way. Like I don't use my hands to like slowly crumble up. I just put my hands behind my head and I just push myself off the ground. And then she's on her haunches and then she's up again.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, man, don't stop us now. My pretty kitties. My pretty kitties always land on their feet.
And she yells across the fence, "I'm a dog, not a kitty. Get with the program. This is basic stuff."
I gained 1 momentum for hitting a 7 to 9 before momentum spin, and I'm still in control, correct?
Yes, you are.
I think that for people in the back, they're seeing Kraken going, okay, this ain't usual. This ain't the normal stuff. And so, with her having hopped right up from the slam, he's going to move over and once again go in for that clutch. And since she hitting quite up, I think it's going to be that hands on the shoulder and say, "Look, Underdog, we're supposed to make a good show of it, right?" And I think she probably kidney punches him as he goes, and he's gonna go in with a headbutt that he may not measure as well as he usually does.
Are you telling me that you are about to work real stiff?
I think I am working real stiff. Okay.
Let's have you roll with real.
I get to roll with work because of one of my moves, which takes it from a -2 to a 0. So it's still not great.
Still not great, but...
Ugh, I rolled a 3.
How much momentum do you have, sir?
Insufficient to help that.
I might be able to put that over.
Okay. Do you want to put that over for Kraken?
I think I will.
Tell me how you put that over.
Dog just keeps nicking at Kraken's heels, but the giant, the natural disaster, has just laid down a lesson of destruction with that headbutt.
So, Kraken, do you injure Underdog? Do you end the match in a no contest? Or do you cost Underdog an audience?
Tony's usually a nice guy, but this chick's crazy. We're losing that audience.
Okay. So, Underdog, you will lose one audience, but now you have control of the match.
This is sick. I don't know why you ham and eggers out there are cheering for this.
Oh, so good.
This thing you could never do. Yum!
So, Underdog, tell me how you come back from that. I mean, bruised forehead, it hurt. Your mask is probably cracked in places from that. What do you come back and do?
Okay, you guys are gonna have to forgive me. I know none of the wrestling lingo.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna describe it as I go.
I always just describe the physical moves of it.
Yeah. So I think she feels the mask start to fall apart, and she's just gonna. She didn't have any training, poor girl. She just rips the mask out of her face, throws it into Kraken's face, and then rushes towards his midsection with her arms on her side, like she wants to tackle him to the ground.
Okay, kind of doing a spearing forward into.
Yeah.
So that seems like a. Do you think that's you're just doing your physical strength, or is it actually kind of being a little more technical about this?
Let me see. I think it can count as technical. Like, I think she's starting to feel that she got the wrong impression about this stuff because she sees Kraken has been a little performatic about it when he could have just pounded her.
Mm-hmm. So in that case, you're going to be rolling with work.
Okay.
Or the other thing I'll say, you could also justify look, since it's about your character.
I see. Either way, I got either an 8 or a 7, so it works either way.
Okay, so you hit. Now you got a choice. You can keep control of the match and keep going, or you can hand control over to Kraken, like you slam in and it just comes to a stop, but you get a momentum.
That's a tough choice.
It is.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand it over. I think she didn't think this thing through, so as they're falling down, she's just getting okay, I'm here. What do I do now? And he has to pick up the slack.
It's a St. Bernard spear. Why aren't you clapping now? Why aren't you clapping now?
Kraken.
You a spear? What?
Oh, I love it. Okay, so I feel her come in and hit solidly, but not like she was trying to say eviscerate me. And so as I take it and she's hit in, I'll sell a little of the double over. As I lean down, I go, okay, it doesn't have to be so rough. I'm gonna put a few on you, then we'll let you come back up. And you feel my arms wrap around your gut as I bring you up to around my shoulders and power slam you down into the mat. I am going to not be trying to hurt you, but it should feel like, holy crap, this guy just did pick me up. I'm hoping...
That sounds like power. So that's your physical strength, right?
It is indeed.
Okay, roll your wrestling move with power.
God, I am rolling like crap. I rolled a 4. That takes it to a 7.
Okay. Do you want to keep control, or you want to hand that off?
I'm keeping control.
Okay.
I feel like it needs to get a little momentum going here, and so as the power bomb drops her, I'm going to not give much time to have her pull back up. I'm going to go right back down and pull her up and do a rope swing. So she pulls back, off the ropes, and catch her sidewalk slam, get up, give a slight roar. Then I'm going to pick her back up again. As I pick her up, I say, okay, if this goes pretty, you should come out of it nice. Take me down after, or wallow up on me a while. And I pull her up to where she's on just one shoulder. Rather than legs on either side, it's just to one shoulder. And I'm going to do a 360 twist around to drop that into a suplex.
Ooh. That sounds like work to me.
And I think we have to question the objectivity of the officials in this match. There were a lot of suspect maneuvers that got us to this point.
You're definitely right. They really should be looking at underdog here. This is ridiculous.
That is a 13.
Is that a
Oh, I'm
13?
sorry. No, I'm so sorry. It is not. It's my work. It's a 10.
It's a 10. That's still good.
It is still good.
Do you want 2 momentum or do you want 1 heat?
I want 1 heat, and because I just hit a 10 or better, I will gain 1 audience because this is what they came to see.
That is right.
And I will be writing a letter to the commission to protest the substandard officiating in this match.
And you still have control when you slam down. Now, at any point, if you have a momentum underdog, you could spend that momentum to interrupt and take control of the match, or you could wait. Kraken,
As we've done this move, and I'm gonna pull back up. I'm like, okay, now's your time. As I pick her up and put her to that turnbuckle and look like I'm coming in for the big splash. But as I run in to do the splash, she does the move out of the way. And we get the ring does as I hit and bounce back. And I am definitely staggered as I fall back and drop to 1 knee.
So let's have you roll look to sell that there, Kraken.
Ooh, alrighty. I was just handing off, but okay.
You're still doing a memorable sequence.
I guess that's true. That's a 10.
That's a 10. So you can get a heat or 2 momentum and then pass control if you want.
Okay. I'm going to fill out that heat.
Okay. So Kraken has staggered back, stunned from hitting the corner post, and staggers back. And you have the opportunity, underdog, to show who you are.
Okay. I think she's gonna like dodge out of the way, and she's gonna slide on the ring as she moves away, like one hand down on the ring, and like she's going like this, and she's sliding on her way back, and then she dusts herself off. And are we allowed to talk shit on the ring, or do you don't have any mics handy?
Oh no, you can cut a promo if you want.
I understand you have something to say. Let me bring you a microphone.
Yeah, she picks it up and she says, "Thanks, Big. You think you're a big dog, but you're just a squid. You're a weak little mollusk. You can do anything to me." It's just like she's trying her best. She's just not good.
Oh yeah. Let's see her cut a promo. Roll with look.
6. I'm gonna spend my momentum on this. I got 1.
Okay. So you can gain a momentum back, so it won't be a fail, and you'll be back where you were. Or you can gain a heat with the subject of your promo. The other ones aren't particularly relevant to right now.
Okay. I'm gonna get some heat.
Okay. So you get +1 heat with Kraken.
And then she throws the mic over the fence back to sub-Fahrenheit.
Okay.
And I'm not in control, right?
Well, now that you by doing that move, we pass control back over to Kraken.
Okay.
Kraken.
Okay, so I've taken the insult, and but I feel like she's getting into what the job is. I feel like I'm cracking through, and if I can help her do what's right in the ring, I can take a whoop, and that's okay. I can handle that. And so I think we're gonna, as she says this, I roar up, and so we're gonna do a little of the catch can as I move over, and she's dodging off every time. And I think that as I do one of these last ones, she's going to manage to get a pretty good, solid, just like punch right into the side of Kraken's jaw. Look solid, but I think she actually pulls it. If that's good with you, you're not trying to actually break my jaw. Cool. And so as you do that, I think I'm going to stagger back, and you're going to come in. We have Underdog come in, and I say, okay, follow up on this. It's worked before. It's always been dynamite. When you get in the air, grab my head and ride that down. I don't want to break your legs. And I'll leave that open as I do something that works so well with Spider Hero. I'm going to pull her, grab hold of her, lift her up, bring her up to the shoulders, lift up so her feet are on my shoulders. It looks like I'm fixing to do the just big old skyscraper slam down, but push her up so she can kick off my shoulders and flapjack me down as she comes back down, nailing my face into the mat.
Okay. I think this is definitely work for you to make this work, sir. Unless you think you want to roll with heat.
I was thinking maybe if she's, are you willing to listen, Underdog? Are you going with me on this?
Yeah, I'll try it. I don't want to break my legs.
Then roll with heat.
All right, that's a 12.
That is a 12. So that goes well. You can gain a heat with your opponent or 2 momentum.
I'm taking the momentum, and I will immediately hand over.
Okay. So, Underdog, what are you going to do?
Okay, so he just got smacked face first into the ring, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So she gets down on all fours again, and she does this really cool jump over him and slides her legs under his arms as she's grabbing him from behind. And then she uses the strength of her thighs to lift him up as she's holding him upside down. And then she makes a little show of smelling his butt, and then she makes a disgusted face, and she's holding onto his legs as he just drops them so he can drop forwards.
That seems like you are showcasing your character. So how about roll with look?
Ooh, 8.
Again,
And
8.
she gets down on all fours like a bipedal person imitating a dog.
So you can get a momentum, and hand control back over to Kraken, or you can keep control.
Yeah, I'm keeping it for now.
Okay, so what's the next bit?
So the next bit is she's gonna move up to him and lift him up. So she's got him in a headlock from behind, and she's pulling him towards the fence. And then she climbs on the fence, hikes him up, and hangs him there. And then she says, she grabs the mic. I'm just figuring Sub Fahrenheit is just nearby with the mic if she needs it. If that's okay with Matt.
That seems, yeah, okay.
And she just says, wait, I didn't actually think of a catchphrase before I attempted it. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna come up with one. It's just, okay, I got it. You're looking a little flabby there, Squid. Why don't you help you get a little stiffer? She has no idea this has sexual connotations. The kids are just going crazy. The 13-year-olds on the Glee Club, they're just going, whoa, ah! And then she just lifts him up all at once, so he's standing up, and she pushes him forward, so he stumbles to the other end of the fence. And then she, I guess I make a move for that as well.
Yeah. Do you think that's work or technical, or is it you trying to exert your strength through power?
It's technical. She's trying really hard not to dislocate his shoulders or make him fall into the ring before reaching the fence on the other side.
All right. So that is work. Go ahead and roll with work.
Okay. I got an 8.
Got an 8. So you can keep control of the match, or you can hand control off.
And I get momentum if I hand them off, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna hit her up for now.
Okay. So here's the thing. As you kind of do that, I do want to tell you, Underdog, I'm going to reveal the booking. You can decide how you guys want to handle this now. Kraken is booked to win against you, Underdog.
Okay.
So there are options for heel moves and babyface moves and interrupts and things like that. But otherwise, Kraken is going to be going for his finisher on you.
Well, I'm going to spend a momentum to interrupt the match.
Okay.
Hey, Guillaume, it's time for you to earn your paycheck. And he throws Mike on the ground and run towards the ring. And just looking to kind of avalanche Leviathan because he wants to show he's one of the few guys that's big in that range. He's going to do a power move to him.
So this is a run-in.
Yes.
So go ahead and roll your heat with the Kraken.
All right. What is my heat with the Kraken?
I don't think you have.
I don't think I have any.
No.
All right.
It'll be 1 because you have 1 with everybody.
That's right. Yeah.
That was not what I meant to do.
So that's a 1 and a 5. So that's 6. Plus 1 is a 7.
And I have a fuck ton of momentum. I'm going to use 3 momentum. I'll make that a 10.
Okay. So on a run-in, it's a hot angle. You both gain +1 heat with each other. So Kraken gains the heat with you. You gain a heat with Kraken. And then you get to pick 1 from the 7-9 list. You attack them in the ring, resulting in their opponent getting DQ'd. Interference doesn't change. Or interference doesn't change, but the opponent comes after you for interfering.
So interference doesn't change.
Okay. And the opponent comes after you or the later match?
Yeah, opponent comes after me. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you do, Kraken?
Kraken,
Oh my. Yeah. Oh my. Okay, so I've just been like splashed. So I've been kind of laid out. And I'm guessing, you know, after that, Sub Fahrenheit has moved out of the ring. And Underdog is taking advantage and gets up and is, you know, I'm down on the ground, so it's doing the ride, just pounding in to my chest. But it's going to end up with somehow that Underdog's going to be mad at Sub Fahrenheit on this. So I think that as she's riding me, Sub Fahrenheit's probably like having done the splash, still around, still over there, kind of directing and shouting abuse. And it's enough that that we see that moment where Kraken looks over and gets angry with Sub Fahrenheit for this happening. And it's that anger. He sits up with her still on his chest, pounding at his face. Moves to a knee. Still she's pounding at him. Up to full height. He's staring completely at Sub Fahrenheit as this goes on. She's wailing at the head. Into that big power bomb set, seated power bomb he does for a finisher. All the time, completely locked with Sub Fahrenheit's eyes. Wham!
So let's have you roll your finisher now, Kraken.
All right. I rolled a 4. I am lucky enough.
But I'm going to put that over because this is flagrant and heinous! The crime that you're perpetrating, not just against one individual participant, but against all professional wrestling!
So were you pushing up to a 7 and then...
I was, I think maybe Sub-Fahrenheit, did you drop my momentum instead of yours?
May I have?
I'm down to 1, and I think I had 4.
You had 4, yeah.
I might have done that. That sounds...
Okay, that's cool. Just making sure. So, yeah, I will take myself up to that 7.
So here's the question, Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
You hit your finisher clean. You can gain an audience, or the underdog. As you hit her down, who is at 0 audience, you can give the underdog an audience.
Oh, I'm definitely giving it to underdog.
So
as we start the descent, I say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Wham!
kind of lays you out there on the mat, kind of looking up at the ropes. That's finisher's good. The crowd, which was kind of cool at the beginning of the match, is now excited about this. I'm
showing the hate over there to Sub-Fahrenheit. I mean, I'm giving the full hate back over that direction.
Are you charging over at him? Nope.
Yeah, I'll definitely get to the ropes and be over the top of the ropes, sort of thing.
Guillaume and the other announce staff are moving slowly over, like away from where Knight is sitting.
Guillaume, did you even say anything tonight? What you've done is sick. It's not fair. You'll be stopped. You'll be stopped. Because what you did to my cameral wrestling institution tonight will not stand.
And I think that's gonna I think that's gonna finish out the match. They're gonna clear things out. We don't have time for another match, but I would like to do some backstage stuff. If we could see some of what we would see backstage. Does that seem fair?
It does.
So let's start with since you were on just the announce table, let's start with you, Kent Reed. What do we see backstage, either during that match or afterwards, either with these people or with your stable? What do we see on or off camera?
I think this is going to be off camera. He's talking backstage. You see him talking with Wolf, I think, about how his match with Sub Pig went off, and he's still trying to talk up the Wild Hunt gimmick because he doesn't want that to kill it, even though that the food match really doesn't really help sell that new gimmick at all.
Mm-hmm. He says, "No, that's okay. This is a starting point. We're still not sure with the whole PG thing. You did a good job, and you were willing to take it when all of that went down. So that is fine. We'll get the Wild Hunt thing. I think we've got some monster stuff. If we get people off the injured roster and back in, we've got Lurch, we've got Clarabelle, we've got Gargoyle Lord, we've got Kraken. I think it's a great angle. So yeah, I'm behind you on that. We're going to have to refit some of the costumes. If you're to Wild Hunt, I'm not sure whether Ash is going to work with that. Gorgon probably. I'll leave that to you. But right now we've got 4 women in that stable. I think you only need 3. So I'll need you to work with them and figure out who you want to cut.
Well, Gorgon would work really well as a monster, I think. I mean, she's already got that gimmick. If she wanted to shift over to the monster end of things, that would be a perfect fit for her.
Okay, let me check with her. And so then we'll put Widow, Ash, and Hippolyta over on your side of things. You can rename them if you want.
I'll talk with them about it.
Okay.
I appreciate you working with me on this.
Yeah, no. Hey, you've done solid buys. You've been over. I know tonight was not a great match night for you, but you've been solid.
Thanks, Wolf.
Your promo stuff was a little flat earlier on, but it gets better.
I'll keep working on it.
Okay. Underdog. When you kind of come backstage, what do we see from you? Do we see you to go talk to somebody? What do you do?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go for Fahrenheit, that biggest toast.
So Fahrenheit, you've got backstage after that pretty awesome match. Underdog approaches. What does Underdog say to Fahrenheit?
She pushes him into the nearest wall, and she has her dog with her, and it's growling at him. And she says, "The fuck did you step into that ring for? We were doing all right."
And I got you heat. That's you don't understand. I got you heat. I'm over. It's and he pats her on the head very condescendingly. It's called giving you the rub.
She smacks his hand. "I don't want you rubbing any of me. Don't touch me, fucker. I don't know you. You're just a freak in a big mask. We're having a good match. You just want all the attention for yourself."
And what you'll learn is that a pig mask means more than all the hurricanranas in the world. Stick with me, kid. You can learn something. You're not bad.
She hauls him by his collar, and she's just taller than him, I guess, if you think that's okay. She's a big girl. And she looks into his face and she says, "You fuck with me again, you won't be worried. You won't have to worry about getting up on stage again, or the ring, or whatever. I'll make sure you can never walk."
And we're gonna assume he's got the mask on right now, and he'll pull the mask off, showing like he's got like a fucked up face. Like he's had a lot of hardcore matches. He's got the scars in the forehead that you could put a quarter into. His mouth, I'm not going to get into the details, lol, but his mouth is messed up.
There's some teeth problems there.
Really?
And your dog probably backs off a little bit at this guy.
Yeah, for sure. She even steps back and lays him back on his feet, and she's like, "I don't feel like talking to you anymore."
That's okay. That's okay.
So no tail between the legs, but a good mitt. So what happens then?
Yeah, she just walks away, and you see she glances back again. She's like, "Damn, that dude is fucked up as shit." And then she feels a little bad for coming for him, not knowing that he looks like that.
And this is probably what wrestling does. This is our first night of this.
Yeah.
So what do we see from Sub Fahrenheit then?
Sub Fahrenheit is happy. He'll go up to Wolf.
Hey!
See what I do with no hardcore?
You had me really scared.
I had them really scared too.
It's good.
Because they know I'm not bullshit. See what we can do now? We can do kitty shit.
He says, we've got some money to spread around. I'm going to put some more in your packet this week, okay?
Sounds good.
Nice job there at the end. That was good. It was nice heat with Kraken. I liked it. We've still got heat between you and Kent, so I like what you're doing.
Got a lot of matches for the kids now.
Hey, Kraken was worried about Underdog. What do you think of her?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody's told her to work.
Yeah, I'm a little. We may have to send her to camp if she's gonna be here for a while.
Okay. By the way, no more animal masks.
No more animal masks. Promise. And Kraken, what do we see from you? Do you go talk to somebody? Do we see you?
I think he's going to go find Underdog after this match. Where do I find you, Underdog?
She's just backstage and she's grooming her dogs.
I'll come up and backstage. Tony's really kind of friendly, and not to take agency, but he's got that sort of personality and calmness that animals generally like cats love to rub on him, that sort of thing. So as he comes up, the dogs kind of look up and, oh, nice. You did great. You did really, really well. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I had fun. Thanks for helping me. It wasn't what I thought it would be.
No, that's the thing. You got to remember, it's a show. We're here to make people happy. And if you do it right, well, you can become important and people want to see you and they'll remember you forever.
What kind of fucked up people get happy when they see people get hurt?
Well, it's not that they want to see people get hurt exactly, though they do like that.
I like it.
They want to see where good and evil fight. They want to see where the good guy takes a beating, but he always comes back. They want to see an evil that seems overwhelming, but someone can beat it. It's like a morality play.
I think I'm getting it. Can I ask you something?
Certainly.
If you're such a nice guy, why do you play a villain?
Because the villains get all the heat.
Everybody keeps telling me about heat. I only know about heat from dogs, and that's not a thing that I like to think about.
When they're mad, they remember you. I'd rather scare 1,000 children than make one of them cheer.
I do like making children get scared.
You're gonna do great, kid. And I think that might even be that kind of moment where you see Kraken, who has always been the young wrestler coming up, be a little more like an old guy, kind of a legend.
Like a mentor figure. And I think that is a good place for us to cut for the evening. We've got a show. I dragged things out a little bit. I probably could tighten things up, but I liked both matches. So I'm happy with that. Louise, I hope you had a good time trying this out. Good.
Yeah, I had so much fun.
Good.
I was laughing the whole time. You guys are so good. You are so good.
This is a dream team of players for this. Quite honestly, you've got 3 of the best here at the table.
Hell, if you're around next week, you probably could play again.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Put yourself on the wait list if you want.
I have Hangouts open. I opened in the minute the session ended.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop the broadcast.